Good morning. Welcome to the Manitou Springs High School commencement ceremony for the graduating class of 2020.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome to the graduation of Manitou Springs High School's class of 2020. Can you believe it? We're finally here. We have waited 12 years for this. A few weeks ago, we weren't even sure we would make it here. I thought I wouldn't be standing in front of you guys, giving a speech that will likely be forgotten by next week, but I'm really glad to have that chance. To start off, I want to thank our district administration for their tireless work these last few weeks that allowed us to have a graduation. I know we will remember this for a long time, and we are incredibly grateful. I also want to thank our wonderful Manitou families. This has been an incredibly hard time for all of us, and our families have rallied around us. The families in this community are incredible, and I am proud to be a part of it. I wish I could look out into those bleachers right now to smile at my family that has been so supportive through not only this, but all of my time at Manitou. I'm sure many of you feel similarly. Now, I cannot go any further without thanking our teachers. In February, I came home from school every day, just counting down the days until I was out of here. Little did I know, that day would be just around the corner. It's the classic, you never know what you have until it's gone situation. These teachers have worked tirelessly for the last 4 years in order to get us to this very point. They are the ones that prepared us to take the SAT, write our college essays, and interview for jobs. Teachers are real-life superheroes. They truly keep the world spinning. I want to say something about all of you, the class of 2020. That's why we're all here, right? I've always thought that our graduation year sounded cool. There are a lot of jokes thrown around about being the class with 2020 vision. 2020 vision is the strongest vision someone can have. Call it cheesy, but I think that we truly have 2020 vision. The strength we hold is incredible. Our class has endured time and time again. Even this year alone, we stood strong against hate, crazy snow days, loss, our parking lot, and even a global pandemic. The strength we have shown is something to be proud of. The strength we hold now is something I hope you all carry with you into the future. I will always be proud to say that I was a part of Manitou's class of 2020. I have loved being your president this year. Thank you for an incredible 4 years, and here's to an even better future.
It's an honor to be here with you today. I've attended and participated in many graduations, and this will always be the most memorable for me. I want to take a moment to thank everyone who contributed to this very different and especially meaningful celebration of the senior class of 2020. Thank you to your principal, Mr. Motor Chandler, the high school and district leadership teams, the Board of Education, the City of Manitou Springs, including the fire department, the police department, and Public Works. Thank you to El Paso County Public Health Department, Manitou Springs School District 14 staff, parents and families, and of course, our students. To be here today has required tremendous patience, creativity, care, and collaboration. I am so thankful that we are able to honor you now. I know that this is not what you or your families imagined this day to look like when you started your senior year. But this student-only format does not diminish the significance of this accomplishment. Let's take a moment to pause and pay attention to the important time together. What does this day represent to you? Now let's take a moment to think about the beauty that surrounds us. Soak in what you see, smell, feel, and hear. Look around. This is a special place, one that should never be taken for granted. And memories are stronger when we take a moment to pause. This is an important day in more ways than one. This day represents the hard work and dedication it took for you to be here. And it also represents the transition to your next stage of life. Symbols are the basic elements of every culture. These symbols pop up in unique circumstances. The M at the end of the field, the Mustang on the plaza, the American flag raised at full staff is a symbol, and when the American flag is raised at half staff, represents a different symbol. Today, the mortarboard that you are wearing is a symbol of graduation, which signifies accomplishment. Since March, we've had new symbols that have entered into our lives. And each of us receive and make sense of these symbols in different ways. I choose to use these symbols to motivate and energize me about moving forward positively. There are 3 symbols I want to take a moment to mention and reflect upon. The first symbol, the door opener. Each of you has an MSSD door opener in your chair. This door opener was 3D printed by a team at Manitou Springs Elementary School. This tool allows you to enter a space without touching the door. Let the symbol of this door opener be a reminder that you hold the key to your future. As the Greek philosopher Plato wrote, necessity is the mother of invention. As you move through life, it will be critical that you always find ways to be flexible, innovative, creative, aware, collaborative to solve problems, and you make sure you have the right tools for the situation. Your education and learning will be the most important tool for life. I plan on keeping this door opener on my keychain beyond this current circumstance. It will serve as a reminder of this world event, the importance of public education, and the way the senior class of 2020 has the tools that will make this place a better world. The second symbol. Currently, as we are entering different buildings and spaces, there are signs that promote physical distancing. There is tape on the ground showing where you need to stand in proximity to others. The chairs you are sitting in are 12 feet apart so the media teams can walk down the aisles. These are all symbols. Let the symbols of these posted signs and markers of physical distancing represent that the space between us matters. Whether it be that we are far apart or close together, both physically and emotionally, these spaces matter. Also, that just because someone is not physically with us, this does not mean that they are not always with us. Your parents, families, loved ones, and others certainly would love to be here today, and we know that. Since this is not possible, they wrote a letter to you. At this time, we'd like for you to reach under your chair, and you should feel an envelope. We ask that you peel that envelope off of your chair and take a moment to read the letter to yourself silently. We'll pause as you take some time to do so. We hope you'll hold on to those letters from your loved ones and the people who care about you so much. Thank you to the Senior Parent Committee who worked together to create this moment for you. Finally, the third symbol. Earlier this month, the senior class donated an etched stone to honor the spirit of the Mustang, which this year we decided to honor 100% of the district staff. A stone will be installed at Ute Pass Elementary School, Manitou Springs Elementary School, Manitou Springs Middle, Manitou Springs High School. The legacy of the senior class of 2020 will be captured through this symbol. When you visit these schools in the future, let this symbol be a reminder of your journey to be here today. You all selected a wise quote to be etched onto the stone. The quote is by Maya Angelou. As she wrote, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." There will be many more unexpected twists and turns in each of our lives, but it is how we respond in those moments that matter the most. As you move through life, I hope that you will pay close attention to those signs and symbols that bring you closer to your goals, your aspirations, and your best hopes for yourself, others, and the community. On behalf of Manitou Springs School District 14, congratulations on this tremendous accomplishment.
Good morning, class of 2020. How are you guys doing this morning? Since I can't follow up with such a wonderful, solemn, or heartfelt message from your parents, I just need to tell you it is a privilege and honor to serve as the Manitou Springs District 14 School Board President. But more importantly than being the board president is being a parent of a 2018 graduate of Manitou Springs and also being a 30-year educator. And what that gives me is perspective. Particularly as a former high school government teacher, I have perspective about seniors and graduation. And I want to share a little bit about the uniqueness of Manitou. When I say to you that I've experienced something unique or that you have experienced something unique and special here in Manitou, I'm not speaking from the heart with rainbows and unicorns. I don't often. I'm speaking from my head with knowledge and experience because I know what happens here in Manitou for the students, through the community, the parents, the staff that support you and that are all around you. It's the same reason that I moved here when my child was young, and it's the same reason that I stay in Manitou today and serve on the board and wherever else is needed, because of you and this very special community of which the school and district is an integral part. So whether you have been in D14 your whole educational career, or you just maybe even dropped in this year, what you have experienced is not just textbooks and essays and standards, although those things are extremely important as well, but you have had the whole package. This year especially has been riddled with challenges. You've faced extreme hate, fear, isolation, and still the unknown. You have responded with love and compassion, service and caring. You have responded with the inclusion of others and acceptance and celebration of diversity and for standing up for what is right. The community, your teachers, and your parents have trusted you to develop your own ideas and to solutions to these issues and to run with them. This is what sets you apart. Not everyone has experienced these things by your age. Cherish these experiences and challenges, no matter how painful, and value them as you move forward with confidence. Although the path may now be a little more murky than you intended when you started your senior year, do not let that deter you from seeing the opportunities to make connections and serve that will be all around you. Most of all, continue learning outside of a structured campus environment, outside of the boundaries of your workplace, outside of textbooks and assigned essays. Learn from experience and from others. There are mentors and very good people out there. Learn who you are and make your way knowing you have already confronted and conquered more than most people have in a lifetime. You are not just amazing, class of 2020, you are incredibly Manitou.
My fellow Mustangs, we've had an amazing year. I know this is not what we're expecting for or hoping for our senior year. I'm sorry we did not get to have our last or the last events we're looking forward to. To the parents, teachers, coaches, and advisors who are not able to be here and support us. Thank you for everything you have done and for helping us reach this point. As the class of 2020, we'd like to present these gifts as a symbolic gesture of our love and appreciation for what you have done for us. A rose. To thank all of our families for the unconditional love and support that you have given us over the years. To thank our friends for the unconditional love, support, the laughs we've had and the struggles we've had, and most importantly, for you to be there. A book. To thank our schools for the amazing education that we have received and for the lessons we have learned, not just in the classroom, but also outside of it. An American flag. To thank our community for going above and beyond, for encouraging us, inspiring us to grow as citizens and contribute to our society as we pursue our dreams and passions. These gifts symbolize our gratitude, yet they can never make up for what you have done to help us get here. While you may not be able to be here and celebrate with us today, we carry with us what we have learned from you, and never forget what you have sacrificed for us. Now, if you will, please give your parents, teachers, family members, and whoever else has helped you get to this point a round of applause and look towards the camera. Now look around at those around you, because this will most likely be the last time we'll all be here together. Take it in. Because as we know, in an instant, everything can change and make moments matter. From here on out, we write our own destiny. This is scary, don't get me wrong, but look at everything we have been through and where we have come from. We can do anything we set our minds to. Just look at today. No matter what is thrown at us, we must get up and not let that hold us back. Become the person you wish to be. Lift up those around you. If you see someone else struggling, help them up, because that could be you someday. You all are going to do amazing things, whether you stay close or you go far. You'll always have a home here, and we, the class of 2020, will always be remembered. Don't let this get you down. Rather, let it empower you and make the best out of all the little things. As we know, it could go away in an instant. Through every hardship, we have only gotten stronger, and you have grown because of it. We have persevered through the unthinkable, but we will do just that, the unthinkable. Through this experience, we have learned so much, and we must hold on to that and not forget it. I know we all have some regrets looking back. However, regret is not going to get us anywhere, but rather it will just hold us back. Look forward and learn from it. Now, my fellow classmates, congratulations, we've made it. I'm so happy to have made this journey with you all.
here you are, standing on the precipice between childhood and adulthood, an invisible threshold yet to cross. As you hear that call to adventure, ready to assume your earned place among us, the adults, armed and empowered with all of the answers to each of life's questions, right? Oh, wait, no. There's no single answer to life's questions. And for all of our varied and collective experiences, we don't know any more answers than you. Comforting, right? So where does that leave you? My beloved class of 2020, my babies born in the wake of tragedy, fighting inner battles and outer wars aplenty, yet your journey's just begun. And sadly, our time together's done. And so I should impart sage words of wisdom as custom demands. A parting gift, my dear sweet pilgrims. My hope for your future lies between the lines of novels, poems, essays, speeches, analyzed as assigned. That you never underestimate conflict's power in making your character grow, not cower. That your relationships bloom, bend, and strengthen, and the themes of your life's plot to greatness beckon. If you ever find yourself on the road of cannibal desperation, remember, there will be others, golden chalices, your brethren, who will remind you to listen to the words your heart mentions and follow the omens to your personal legends. There will be times when you cry out in pain and grief for lost friends, lost innocence, lost loves and family, all in disbelief. But remember what Esperanza said, you can never forget who you are and where you come from. So live without regret. Make mistakes, but always take time to learn from them. Listen actively to others, don't just accept, but question. Love with your whole heart and live passionately, seek to understand, not just agree to disagree. Be unashamedly human and clearly see the beauty of love and empathy. For the brave heart laid bare, a vulnerable act of trust, not warfare. That's all the advice I've got. But before I end, I must thank you wholeheartedly, my young friends. I've learned so much from you in these 4 years, and my heart is forever wrapped around yours, my dears. Congratulations. The time has come at last to cross this field and then keep walking past into the world to accomplish amazing deeds, changing the world and planting good seeds. And wherever you venture, please know this to be true. Forever you're my kid, and I'm so very proud of you.
The families, staff and faculty, and the graduates of the Manitou Springs High School class of 2020. I'm honored to be one of your chosen speakers this year. There certainly were better candidates, so I'm really worried that the pandemic may have damaged your critical thinking skills. So I debated between topics for my speech today. Would it be the fundamental theorem of algebra or the fundamental theorem of calculus? Or maybe Newton's second law of motion? No, just kidding. I saw Lou grimace over here. So I chose hugs. That's right, hugs. Bet you didn't see that coming, Leo. A few weeks ago, at a scintillating staff Google Meet, someone stated there will be no hugging. And I wrote it down in my trusty little quote booklet so I could use it to my benefit. But it also included a sad irony given you, the class of 2020. I was never a hugger. I'm not sure why I'm not a hugger. I could speculate about my childhood or my genetic map or the times and environment in which I grew up. But regardless, I never considered myself a hugger. As I contemplated topics I could speak about today, I played with many ideas like integrity and trust, critical thinking and risk assessment, all good topics, but potentially boring topics. So I chose hugging. So let me explain. In the summer of 2013, after 2 years in Afghanistan, I decided I needed to start my second career. I called Glenn Hard to see if I could do my semester student teaching at Manitou Springs. He said yes, and at the end of the semester, a position opened up and I applied. Why did I apply? Many people believe high school is where students transition from their last stage of childhood to the initial stages of adulthood. Given my strengths and shortcomings, I felt I could best serve my country as a high school teacher. proximity had something to do with it since I lived in the school district. But by far, the biggest reason for applying specifically to Manitou Springs was because of you, the students of Manitou Springs High School. As I observed students that semester, I recognized how kind and good you all are to each other. I joked with Mr. Lane and Mr. Brown in the hallway about how there's too much hugging going on in the halls. I don't remember any of my classmates hugging as friends at either the 2 high schools I attended nor the 3 high schools my kids attended. I remember many specific hugs in my life. You probably do too. In 1993, I came home from Somalia after a mission memorialized by the book and movie Black Hawk Down. I have a picture in my classroom that was on the front page of the Fayetteville Observer as we marched up to the waiting crowd consisting of family and friends. I remember the hugs I shared with my wife and 3 kids. It was good to share my relief of being safe at home with my loved ones after that emotional ordeal. I remember the hugs I gave each of my kids at their high school graduations. And 2 or 3 months later, I remember the goodbye hugs I gave those same kids when we dropped them off at college. The first hugs shared a special occasion and said congratulations to them. The latter hugs relayed that I would miss them. It was hard to let them go, and I was always there if they needed me. I'm sure your parents will feel some of those same emotions. I remember how good it feels when I get those before bedtime hugs from each of my grandkids. Now I better appreciate how my parents and grandparents felt when they hugged me as I grew up. But I'm not a natural hugger. I never contemplated the meaning of a hug. I now realize how a hug can double the joy of a happy moment, how a hug can cut in half the pain of a sad moment by sharing that pain with someone else, and how a hug can help achieve closure. When is there a better time to hug someone than right now, in these times? How many times would a hug have made someone deal with the current situation a bit better, or get through a small dip in spirits? Deep down, that was the thing that drew me to Manitou Springs High School. It's the way you emphasize and live being nice to each other through hugs. We see it every day, we the teachers and the faculty. You hug to start the day, you hug to cheer someone up when they are sad or going through tough times, and mostly, you hug to share your energy, happiness, and friendship. When you think about it, a hug never hurts anyone. All the same, don't even think about trying to hug me. If I was a superhero, my name would be Porcupine. But that's not you. Well, maybe a couple of you guys. What I'm sure of, though, is that you, the class of 2020, have been my teacher on the subject of hugging, on its meaning, its importance, and the unrestricted appropriateness of it. So it is with sadness that I reflect on what was said in the staff meeting. There will be no hugging. Sadness because of how it could have, maybe did, help someone over the past 10 weeks. Sadness because the pure huggiest people I know are asked not to hug on this very special day. I have faith by using the critical thinking skills that you develop throughout your school years, you will end this milestone of adulthood with a proper and safe hug. Someday, somehow, and remember, there's no hugging at the boards. Congratulations, class of 2020. Go have fun while doing great things.
Hi everyone. If you don't already know me, I'm McKenna, and I'm an introvert. So not only does the thought of giving this speech stress me out, I also dislike long, boring speeches, so you're in luck. I'll try to keep this brief. To be honest with you, I struggled to write this speech, but considering the unique situation our entire world is in, I knew it would be important to acknowledge, honor, and congratulate our entire class for successfully getting to this point. I imagine we can all agree it's been hard to comprehend that we're actually done with all of this. We're actually graduating. We did do something awesome despite a bit of chaos, so that's pretty cool. We definitely had some neat experiences along the way as well. We learned new things, ate new food, asked new questions that were often embarrassing. We watched new movies, made new friends, and questioned which one was New Hampshire in Gov when labeling the map. Lucky for each of us, even more new experiences await. It's crazy how even though we've all had different experiences during our time as a Mustang, many experiences have been shared. It has been this colorful Manitou community that brings us together and gives us a special commonality that will never be forgotten. After all, not everyone can say that they showed up late to school wearing a toga. We've made so many memories in these past 13 years. I'll always remember the Torres factory of Baby Bell cheese wax in 4th grade. I'll always remember the lunches at the picnic tables in middle school, everyone in AP Lit with our worms on a string. Winning our robotics competition in California, complaining about how we're struggling with classes and with friends, making inside jokes with so many people, playing Monopoly and advisory, and so many more. I really want to thank all of you for creating opportunities for and with each other. There's nothing better than the support of being there for one another, growing together, and lifting each other up. You have cared for the people around you and have lit up every room you've walked into. Thank you for being a part of my favorite memories. Guys, I'm proud of us. Thank you to every single staff member, teacher, and administrator. You have inspired all of us to follow our dreams and passions and even do something crazy every once in a while. You've taught us to always think critically and logically and to be our best selves. Thank you to our families, especially mine, for dealing with us through all of these years. I'm sure I can speak for each of us when I say that we couldn't have done this without you. From the bottom of my heart, I'm amazed by everything we've accomplished. And even as I wrap up this speech, I still can't believe we're actually here. We're actually graduating and getting ready to go out into the world and do our own thing. And as Gina Linetti of the 99 said, the English language cannot fully capture the depth and complexity of my thoughts, so I'm incorporating emojis into my speech. Winky face. Wow, that was one wacky year, but let's embrace the wacky. We never know what's gonna hit us next.
Good morning, class of 2020. Pants were a very bad decision today. A few months ago, I think I would have laughed had you told me that I would be speaking to a crowd wearing horse masks and sitting 12 feet apart. A few months ago, I would never have believed that the school nurses would be using thermometers to check our temperature as we arrived at the high school. I mean, I was genuinely surprised to find out that the school nurses had equipment other than ice packs. Class of 2020, you are a great class, and you deserve a historic address. That's right, I know that what is set up here on this stage today will be remembered forever and will impact your lives for years to come. So I'm really glad that McKenna went first and got that out of the way. But although you already got your historic address, I do have a few words to say. First, we are all here because we have just graduated high school. But what now? To answer that question, or really the question, we have to make a decision, a big one. I'm willing to bet the biggest decision that most of us have made in our lives so far. Where will we find work? Where are we going to college? How are we going to pay for college? Wait, how are we going to pay for college? As I think we've all discovered, it's a lot of pressure. But it's important to remember that while this decision will certainly shape our lives, it will not define them. Whatever you have decided, or whatever you will decide on as your plan for next year, is the right decision. Know that what you have decided, be it college or otherwise, is what you are meant to do. Believe that. Now, I think we all have a role model in our lives. Someone we admire and respect in such a way that we try to emulate them. We want very much to become like them, but none of us will. Whether this person is family, a friend, a celebrity, an athlete, or Nick Nunley, we will each miss their mark in countless different ways. But it is our failure to achieve our perceived ideal that makes us unique. Your path at 18 years old will not necessarily be your path at 28, 38, or 48. Our hopes and dreams are constantly evolving. Some will tell you to fear failure. Others will tell you to embrace it. But whether you fear it or not, failure will come. However, as philosopher, great thinker, and cable television talk show host Conan O'Brien said back in 2015, the beauty is that through failure and disappointment, you can gain clarity. And with clarity comes conviction and true originality. I think this is particularly relevant during these absolutely insane times. Disappointment and mass confusion are rampant. I mean, I'm pretty sure shaking hands is now a grade D felony. But if we accept our misfortune, if we handle our disappointment correctly, our perceived failure will become the catalyst of profound reinvention. Finally, I'd like to say thank you. As Chesterton pointed out, when it comes to life, the critical thing is whether you take things for granted or take them with gratitude. I know that I take far too many people for granted. People who have made me who I am today. Mr. Talbot, Coach D'Amato, any teacher and coach expected more from me, my incredible parents, brother and sisters, everyone else who I'm lucky enough to call family, friends that I've known since I was 5 years old, and friends who have truly become family, and the rest of you, class of 2020. So, to the class of 2020, fall down, make a mess, break something from time to time, and know that your story is never over. Thank you and God bless.